most. Slack's their main AWP player, the anchor role as well from Cressy. There's a lot of great players on this team, but can they fend off against a Complexity side? Looks like it's going to be a fast take out towards a longhouse to start off.
USP in, wrapping over Blame F. Going to be leading the charge of the defensive crossfire alongside Poison. Out of the USP, seeing Sprout coming out of the gate here towards the longhouse position. Very, very careful off the back of those two players that face first and foremost, though. Only those two individuals popped out of longhouse. There's still two more back there. Taking face. Blame F does get dinked down and eventually overwhelmed by Farben on the kill.
Poison wants to still stay around though, and he's lost his teammate instead of going back towards the site, playing a little bit more defensively, trying to fall back towards CT, maintain the 4 versus 4, but Slacks gets an important kill onto Rush.
Meanwhile, JKS is making a play through the tunnels area, so they're going to get all the information to where Sprout are at. But I feel like with that aggressive face, they might have already understood what's going on here from this T-side offensive. JKS might be playing a rotation lurk, but Farben getting more picks on Poison. On that A-side defense, Complexity are just falling apart. Further taps on Farben, the 8 points of health. Config might buy an opportunity to kill him off, but it's the other 3 players that are the main worry. Slacks crosses, JKS lands one good headshot, needs a second one. Config follows suit, JKS ends up falling, and the T-side players force forward with Spitty getting his double, and Sprout getting the pistol.
Nicely done from Sprout. Pretty simple. They just go quite quickly out towards a long challenge. They try and contest with the fights pretty early on. Seems like there's maybe a little bit of miscommunication there between Poison and the rest of the team, because he went quite aggressively looking for more duels when everyone else just sort of fell back towards the site. And from there, a couple of decent shots come out from the pit position, and they just commit towards the A take, end up winning out the pistol round. Nicely done.
Scouts inbound. Good shot on Dennis, connects to the first player. Not quite the kill against Poison, but still a decent start enough here for these guys. Gets the headshot through the wall onto Poison in the end. Not a headshot, actually. You're utilising that extra damage initially. It's a start out for Sprout nonetheless.
That's another one. That's really the big damaging one. Yeah, you get your opening pick, but if you could follow up even better. Spinny now just trying to fall back. More players just swinging into the contact, and for a force buy, Complexity aren't really doing a lot here. This has just been handled by Spinny and Dennis.
And leaning up here for the Sprout camp. Further shots coming in from the Scouts. Blind past the smoke, catching Farben for 37. But outside of that, it has been a pretty simple affair for Sprout to maintain control of this here. The bomb will go down towards the A site. The retake shouldn't be on here for Complexity, but maybe they can do some damage.
Funny as well, when we got to hear the interview from their coach, Evenk and Jay, kind of talking about the expectations, you almost look at players like your Dennis and your Speedy and think, those guys used to play at Tier 1, right? When we had some previous Sprout lineups, when even we look back towards some of the Mouse Sports days, like those two guys on this team has probably had the most experience out of any player on the Sprout current team to be able to face in competitions like this, face teams like that. So I'm almost looking towards those two guys for just being able to handle the teammates, be able to sort of handle the pressure, because you almost need those veteran players in a big matchup like this.
Sprout getting off on the confident starts here. Complexity trying to force the issue in there for the CT side. But Sprout off on the right foot here to kickstart their map pick. So confidence brimming here for the German camp.
Just looking to really follow up, make sure they're not really losing a lot up against the Eco. Hardly any investment. You've got that saved in, Deagle and Kevlar in from Blame F, but outside of that, it's just USPs for everybody.
Flashes all coming out here. 5 or 6 just popped up there above the longhouse. Sprout making no qualms about where they're going. Kill for Dennis on the first player, sees that second man. Blame F does actually bait in a decent amount of damage and kill on towards one. He does end up falling though. Cressy's also pretty low here with the Galil. Can't catch JKS, he knows that he's there somewhere, eventually does get overwhelmed. Taps through the USB, catching Farben next up. So, fair amount of damage being done here by Complexity. If they can get a third pick, which is pretty likely against Cressy and Spitty, then that could actually be a relatively decent eco for them.
Unfortunately, they haven't been able to recover any weapons. If that would have just been dropped down, then maybe there could have just been an instant save onto one of the players. But stay around for exits, try and see if you can do a little bit more follow-up damage.
Good on there, Smoke's going back again for Cressy. He'll lean himself back into the A site. Heard rush, Poison gets caught. One player that remains, he jump faces, sees what's going on. Cressy going to try wrap around against him, AK spray. connects together. Slack's on 3 points of health, though. So, again, pretty close from Complexity to get some of those skills together. But was an eco. Guns are out here for round 4.
And we only saw a head-to-head between these two sides pretty recently, both in the RMR closed qualifier and the main event. Dust2 coming out both times. In the closed qualifier, did get an overtime victory for the Sprout side and a 16-6 in the main event to come out from Complexity. So Sprout may be trying to see if they can be a little bit different, a little bit more versatile going into this best of 3. Oh, getting close towards that opening shot out from mid.
Incendiaries pressing here towards the B tunnels entrance. Sprout not allowed. Go very far here right now. Pressing up into default position. Sprout not opting to go towards longhouses heavily this time. They're expecting Complexity to adjust against that. Trying to get a feel out for where these rifles are going to go.
A little bit slower this time around. Don't really have the long spawns to go for that early challenge. Instead, just start running the clock, try and see if they can bait out that early util. Haven't really got the information of where this AWP or Poison is playing in from. A bit of an emphasis towards mid as well from Complexity. 2 players around that position.
Smoke back. Molotov in. Suppression is there for Complexity, but Sprout need to be the ones to make the action happen. Nades coming forward. They heard the tag of that Molotov, but Spitty just gets tagged to 68. Not much more than that. Time's ticking, though. Sprout are going to form up an execution soon, and the bomb's still back up towards top mid.
This could be a short fake and just try and split their way into B, or just comes down to the counter utility, which is just raining in for Complexity.
30 seconds remaining. All up on the short position. Spitty flashed into the mid to be play. Blame F caught off in the midst of the smoke. Flash forward, coming for him, knows at the edge of the smoke where Farven catches the kill. And now Config and JKS are here for the defensive. JKS first and foremost gets the spray on one man, only one man though. Farven and Slack clean up those players on the site, get the bomb down, and get the round for Complexity.
And Complexity positioned themselves really nicely to deal with that split play out from mid, but you've got to give a lot of credit to just some of the sight lines being held, just watching that smoke, waiting for the over-aggression, Blame F to come through from CT, and then even the crossfire being set. You can see JKS out towards Van, out towards Car, just holding that sight line in, and then as soon as that contact comes out, even Config swings out from the window, but Slacks is holding the angle. Really nicely done from Sprout. They only lose 1 player, and Complexity will be frustrated with that because they had the right positions held, but Sprout still beat it to him.
This is the reason why I took a look at Dust2 and thought that Sprout could win it, because their T-side can be lights out at times, and right now we're seeing that. Even down to the last 10 seconds, still finding a decent execution here. And Complexity, not enough money to go for a buy around these 2 safe weapons. They might force it or half buy around it, which actually seems to be the latter of those 2 options. But yeah, Sprout just looking deadly right now. Even with players that aren't even starting to get any kills on the board, they're still 4-0, completely undefeated thus far here on T.
It's a good momentum sort of position to be in for Sprout, knowing that you're the underdog team. You get your map pick to start off the best of 3 and looking really solid right now. Early challenge out towards long. CTs aren't really giving up anything. Missed shot from Poison out from mid. The Deagle getting involved. Now they've got 5-on-3 with the bomb dropped.
Risky plays, but they have to kind of go for something risky here in Complexity. A half buy. Managed to do damage. They can recover the bomb here for Sprout, however, so leave that AK aggressing here for Cressy. Dennis tries to get back and go ahead and join Slacks in the longhouse position. Config caught getting a bit too aggressive of his own right, so finally some of that is punished here on Sprout's part. 4v3 still favors Cole, though. CTs are the ones at the advantage.
Oh, I like that mid phase. Just realizing that they're not in the best of buys in the world. They've got a couple of saved-in weapons. Just try and do something with it. Get a little bit aggressive. Maybe a little bit too so up for Config. And even putting that smoke down towards Car is going to indicate that there was a Car player there.
Well, Sprout just racked their brains trying to get that player to fall away, or how do the mind games take effect in that respect here for Complexity? Molotov's in, JKS going to get forced out. Cressy takes that fight and wins it. Does take a tag for his trouble, though, so Russia's kill to trade should be relatively easy, and indeed comes through effective for them. Now it's left to the 2 players of Sprout here towards long control. Again, running the timer low, but this time at the man disadvantage, so they've got to act quick against Complexity. Get these frags in immediately. Only 1 smoke for the cross as well. Watching. Rush is up to sight. They put that smoke down towards CT, which probably is the best place to put it. Bit of a gap there for the Orpa of Poison to work with, but he gets ahead of it regardless. Finds Slack's good kill. Dennis is known, and Dennis is dead. Complexity get there first.
Yeah, nicely done. And look at the weapons they recovered too. Couple of AKs to be picked up for Blame F and Rush. And it all started with the man advantages they found out from mid. Poison missing that first shot, but from there, just the synchronization between him and Config.
That's that first out for Complexity. Sprout's T-side has finally been brought to a grinding halt, despite the decent efforts they posted up there with the rifles. Tactical being called in by Sprout very early on here, realizing they shouldn't have lost that round, so how are they going to avoid that in future?
Oh, we do know from watching Sprout pretty heavily in the past sort of recent couple of months or so that they are a team that whenever they feel like they're in a position where things are starting to slip away, take that tactical, take that moment to just have a breather, be able to reset, because for Complexity, this is now them building up a little bit of momentum. They've got a very good buy going forward into round 6, and for the CT side, this could be starting...
All pound speed. D looks for that first player, almost caught him, but just a little bit too low on the crosshair placement. Orpa can adjust for it. Good effort, but not to be there for Sprout. They have to concede all the longhouse control because they saw a lot of Complexity members. And now know that someone's probably holding that longhouse entrance. So back into the mid defaults we go. Orpa Poison is watching, does face out, does see T-side players, but doesn't connect to kill again.
A couple of smokes to go quite deep out towards mid, at least try and see what they can find in terms of protocol out from Config. Poison with the AWP just falling away, starting to regroup out towards Car on A.
Sprout just being very slow about this default again, Complexity. Backed up into the defaults here. 3 players over on A, 1 player watching mid and 1 player watching B from outside of the site on the doors. They smoke doors and windows, and they basically suppress any entries that Complexity can have here, so... that looks like what Sprout's going to do.
Get the util lined up. You're right about this passiveness out for the City side, and for Sprout, they get this util right with the flash in over the top. They could just completely overwhelm the site. Oh, the resmoke, though.
That's perfect timing. Perfect timing there for Complexity. You yourself are right. Perfect resmoke. But it looks like Sprout aren't going to stop with this. Utility inbound. Flash is going over. Here come the entries. 1 player in window to find. JKS forced away. Will look to find a kill and eventually does catch off Spinny. Config also blind firing, just spraying through that smoke, hoping to catch someone on the cross. Cressy forces forward, sees 2 players and wins out those fights. Rush finds the trade, but Cressy's efforts have brought a 3 versus 3.
Now, what an absolute madman, realizing they needed someone to make a big play, go through the doors, get both kills, and now Complexity on the retake, a lot of upper tunnels presence.
And Slacks is there to deal with it, up in. 3 to find, gets that 1 kill in. AK spray not as good. Poison does find Farvan instead. Slack's going to put down his own counter smoke. Flashes forward, still gets his secondary kill. Not needing the triple. Dennis there with the AK to support it, and Sprout quickly respond to Complexity.
Yeah, that was very nicely done. Like, Complexity put some decent nades in towards our B site. You could see that re-smoke coming through to the upper tunnels. JKS then peeking out from the window position, but Cressy, like, the confidence to go for a play like that. He brought the numbers back to an even playing field.
Slacks' AWP plays as well to shut down the last few players there in the tunnels. So aggressive, so pressured, but he handled that pressure so well. And Complexity take their first tactical timeout here. They have not gotten the most best of starts. Sprout feeling good and looking good right here. Again, their map pick for a good reason. They're showing it here on T-side.
And they are. They're dictating the pace of the game really well. They're making some really good reads, and just individually, they're being able to compare themselves to Complexity. You've got to wonder for the City side, what have they got up their sleeves now? Seeing a couple of smiles there for Cressy. Man, he's happy about that one.
Well, there's no reason to be too fussed about it. He's the guy that basically brought the round back for Sprout. Otherwise, that would have been a man advantage for Complexity's retake, and Sprout would have been so suppressed and passive in the site. So him forcing the issue on that not only brought it back to evens, but it also gave them the breathing room that Sprout needed. So he's got every reason to be happy right now. AK's in, SMG out for Config on Complexity. Their buy is still backed up mostly on rifles, so there is that extra firepower, but Sprout have the better buy.
A little bit more of a lean out towards the B side. Spitty almost gave up the angle for the Xbox player at short to deal with him, but it's actually JKS that catches off Dennis, getting quite aggressive in the upper tunnels.
Speedy just naded out here towards lower tunnels, 43 HP for him. The first kill found by Cole is an encouraging sign for the CT side. Would it carry on this way though? Sprout, another that short position. Rush and BlameF are here to receive them, however. Are they ready? Both of the individuals. Time's ticking. Sprout have got to get this map control. They've got to get a kill on Rush. Forces forward. Spray's a bit awkward, and the AWP Slats can trade it.
A lot of damage being done to this T side, which could even allow an MP9 to make a little bit of a play from Config. So much time wasting, and for Sprout, they just keep getting counter-naded. They've got to make a bit of a play.
And flashed in towards those doors. The smoke's going to get set up here for the Complexity side, try and look on towards the mid-to-B play. Somewhat the smokes indicate for the moment here. Onto that boost spot, onto the cross. BlameF will try to feet forward of it. The SMG might be the main concern, however. Up close and personal for Config Spray. JKS and BlameF also have the crossfire in the backup to bail out the SMG, get the AKs together and get Complexity the second round.
Yeah, that was much more dominant when it came to that crossfire. We could just see the way in which the flash comes in. You've got Config and JKS sort of playing together, and then as that contact coming in, as that crossfire is being set, BlameF even pushes forward of that CT smoke, starts allowing the triple stack to come in, and for Sprout, they just fall so damn quickly out in mid.
They're looking so great with this. Sprout may have finally met a bit of a match here. AWP still in for Slacks, however, on this force buy round, so Sprout can still try and do some damage, but Complexity with so many upgraded weapons and so many AKs as well. Double orbs, double AK, 1M4 for Rush. Everything else for Sprout is not necessarily on the same level of buy-up, and it's contrary to that previous round where Sprout did have the better buy.
Yeah, double orbs and double AKs is always something to be a bit of a laugh about. Flash coming in from mid. Great timing onto BlameF. Another split into mid. No, they're actually going to fake it. Instead, they've got that bomb towards top mid. They're wanting to see what they could drive out of Complexity in this play.
Spinny and Farvan looking back towards the short position will be the players to lean forward. Flashes in, smokes to suppress out the long house, but again, Sprout's main focus is going to be the short commit. They have the utility to go for the full-blown set-piece XE. Then A back at BlameF. When does he time this? Does he time it well enough to get all players to fall? Not quite. They're stalled out.
Yeah, it's just time wasting. A couple of HEs to work with, and the timing's got to be everything. Poison's got one too.
Flashbang in for the moment though, so Complexity just suppressing Sprout, as you mentioned, to waste time. A couple more flashes they can utilize here. Utility coming in now for Sprout here. The flash is coming back over. Nades on. Lots of damage done. And BlameF with the spray does not get any kills out of it. They didn't peek forward of the position, but finally Spinny will end up dropping. Poison gets his AWP involved out towards long control. 2 kills for him, making it a triple. AWP Slack's now going to go for the AWP viewer battle. He's cleared out the site, but with 10 seconds left, so many CTs to find on the face. He does get that secondary pick, but now being challenged by Config on the jump face. And Rush will peek up at the same time. They will lose a number of players in that round, but for a force buy, it's not successful for Sprout.
No, not at all. Really well played there from Complexity on just the anchor rolls. You could just see they put the nades in, they really slow down that short execution, the double nades in, and even the spam, and just the crossfire being set between BlameF out from ramp, the AWP a little bit wider towards that car angle. The only disappointing end to that round for Complexity was maybe losing more players than they should have.
Now it's the eco basis for Sprout. So they can't capitalize on that damage they did to Complexity. It's just going to have to be taking this one on the chin. Maybe if they can get a couple of kills, maybe they could sneak a few little cheeky frags here and there, then maybe that could be valuable to them, but you don't count on it in these kind of rounds. And they know that. Into the defaults, very passive. I mean, just so unbelievably passive from Sprout. They're not even taking mid control.
Yeah, it's a throwaway round, really. It's a Glock round. You're hoping for a little bit of top mid aggression. You're hoping that the CTs just get a bit hungry, and, well, that's just, it's not happening. So they will have to start moving at some point, but as long as they're not getting farmed up by an SMG, which we can see on our POVs, there is no SMG upgrade coming into round 9. That is a little bit of a bonus, but yeah, not expecting Sprout to do really anything in a round like this.
And just seeing what they will try and do, what kind of damage they'll attempt to take. Don't count on it being around, however. What is the play for them? What is the call? How do they do? Catches info on 3, kill on 1, damage to 2 more. Dust2 onto Slacks. Also catch the secondary pick in the end. Bomb being dropped on All Sprout. Trying to work into the short presence. Config going to get another opportunity. Poison gets the AWP pick in on Farman. Not quite the second player of Cressy, but in the end lines up that shot, and Dennis is alone in a 1 versus 5, of which he can't do anything. And yeah, a throwaway round there for Sprout. Complexity back within 1.
Yeah, nicely done. And we're in a position now where the early lead from Sprout doesn't really look that convincing anymore, does it? Complexity have done the hard yards to really start bringing these rounds together, try and keep them more competitive, and getting into a position where, like you mentioned, the lead is only 1 now.
Even Sprout's having major disadvantages outside of just the lead sort of being close to equal. The buy-up still not looking good for them. That eco didn't do enough. They've got a scout in for Slacks, not even an AWP. Farthen also caught in the opening frag, which Complexity are now winning with consistency here. Sprouts full send days into whatever bomb site they wanted, kill every player and get the round. Are long gone now in this map up. Complexity finding the counter plays and exploiting them to their fullest. Blame F opens up the round.
Now, they're looking comfortable right now here on the City side. Sprout losing a lot of opening man advantages in these last few rounds. Bit of a walk setup coming through from Spitty, and Poison might want to try and take a short peek.
Oh, could like a collateral, but doesn't manage to connect it. Dennis gets his trade. Blame F involved. Config traded back towards mid position. His E-aggressors a little bit too far through the mid doors. The nades onto Slacks. He grabs that AK, trying to get rid of the weapons. That Sprout have dropped a 3v3 scenario for them, though.
It all left down towards the Australian now, the only anchor out from the B side. He might be able to get some assistance out from CT, but it lies on him.
Oh, Rush actually sprays through the smoke, and JKS with the adjustment against Slacks makes it an easy pick. It's all left to Dennis. Seeing the up, but JKS lands his 2K, and he had a little bit of assistance there at the edge of the smoke. I imagine Sprout might have given up some information to Complexity. Either that or they just sprayed through and got lucky. Either way, that's a confident lockout to equalize the scoreline at last.
Very disappointing from Sprout. Like, in a 3v3, when you put down the cross smokes at mid and you have to deal with 1 anchor, you at least feel like you're going to get a trade there. And for JKS, you're right about that assistance in from CT spawn. Straight spam coming in for the M4A1S of Rush, and then JKS just holds his ground, makes sure that there's no trades potential. And now with a tied-up scoreline, Complexity have got a chance of taking a lead.
AWP straight in at Poison, connects 1 of 2 AWPs in play for Cole. Straight in against Cressy. Trying to fall back, shot from Poison, not connecting. Spitty and Rush going back and forth. Nades in. Will do some tank damage to the likes of Farvan. Dennis to act here towards the short control and actually gets the kill on Rush. So, Sprout still doing trade damage here with the Eagles in a 3v3 scenario. They can have the A site, but Config finally shuts down that short player. And the run boost into the bomb carrier will cross. He will get the plant in, but everything else is going to be difficult.
Yeah, and even with the counter utility, now with the CTs pressing up to the site, the chance of that bomb plant going down is so much more minimal. Being able to recover that secondary AWP, chuck that back over to Poison. And for Sprout, there were some decent kills there. That wide swing coming out from Dennis, sitting in the molly towards that short position, did very well to at least be able to take some pressure away. But even with that run boost coming out, Complexity just got so close to A so damn quickly.
Yeah, rotations inbound and Sprout doing decent damage there with the Deagles, but couldn't quite win the round outright. So I guess they can sort of be happy there with that eco. 4 guns coming in here for round 12. The AKs, the AWPs in the standard. 1 AK still left for Blame F, so Complexity have a little bit of firepower. Can abuse against Sprout. The double AWPs being the main thing though. Poison and JKS still having some big moments. JKS especially so far in this map up.
It's just coming down to Complexity's AWP plays between the two of them, just getting a lot of picks. Like, maybe not so much the massive 3K, 4K, incredible clutches and what have you, but just pick here, pick there, just takes so much pressure and applies it onto Sprout. Even Rush just getting aggressive up towards Longhouse.
Rush just waiting here with the M4. Cressy, Spitty, Slacks. Held in position round the corner. 1 kill comes in for Spitty's part, actually. He gets the kill on Cressy, so no frag for Rush. But instead of 4v4 scenario, Slacks gets involved against Poison. Catches him at the end of the smoke to maintain a man of mark before Sprout. 1 player lurking out of the short control. Dennis gets his kill on Blame F. Farvan is traded, but Dennis responded to as well. So 2v2 situation. Smoked across. Second one will also come back. There's a gap in that first smoke, however, so the open config will watch.
Hey, right up towards the smoke, work with that gap. And do they have any idea that there is a gap?
No need to. Config flash forward, Slacks trades it, and now the AWP v AWP battle. Who's going to see who first? It's JKS that peeks out with a knife in hand for Slacks, and Complexity continue stacking up the rounds here. Sprouts, that confidence has all but disappeared. This has been a 6th round in a row for Complexity. What's happened to the German cap?
Well, just notice for Complexity how they're not playing retakes. Like in that 2v2, they could have easily just played behind that smoke, allowed that bomb to go down. Instead, they would have flashed their way forward, get JKS in for the trade, and get that clutch forward. It just seems to them, they're so much more keen to taking those fights earlier before the site gets taken, rather than just being so passive and being on the back foot, a little bit more defensively.
Sprout might be going for a bit more of an aggressive play this time around. They're setting themselves up into the set piece on the half bite. It's only Tac 9s and Deagles in. 3 players on the CT side to defend against the AWP is one of the missing all of his shots. BlameF is still there for his 2K. Conflict with one. Bomb drop. Dennis does find a trade back. BlameF comes up from window to get it. Wants to waste no time. Get his quadra in. Get the half for Complexity.
And just picture this for a moment. I was just seeing a lot of A takes coming through from Sprout. The only time they really go B is when they slow the round down on their default, they go for the mid split in, and the one time they go for a B site execution, there's a triple stack. You've got to give a lot of credit for Complexity to just gather that read and have a bit of a gut feeling behind it.
Sprout back up on the buys once again. No bomb plumb bonus for this one, so we're limited on utility sets here. The CT is going to force forward. Look at Dennis caught in the midst of the smoke. BlameF and Rush hold down the crossfire again, and now Sprout just given no chances whatsoever to burst into the long control. They've given so many lives to try and get this position, but it's just picked apart by Complexity. And yes, they were looking a little bit weird in the first few rounds. Sprout in particular just finding some very easy plays, but now the Complexity are alive. They look seriously good.
They look settled, don't they? We look at the early portion of how the half went down. It was 4-0. Complexity won a round, instantly converted back for Sprout to get themselves 5-1. 7 rounds in a row now for Complexity, and looking to stretch it even more. They've still got to get this kill out towards Longhouse to take this control.
M4 watching, waiting and holding. Spiddy, seen, sprayed, gets that shot in against Rush. So that's one trade, but needing to find many, many more here for Sprout.
I'm looking at the situation thinking, do they just kind of save from here? Like, they're on max round loss bonus, but really, are they going to be able to win a 2 versus 4? They're going to have a bit of a crack at it.
Smoke in. Molotov over. Let's see what they can do. AK up, spray through, catches the kill on Spiddy, and it's all of the slacks. Seeing the AWP in the back, over the rice bags. Shots coming in close range of BlameF. We get the 9th round here for Complexity. Going into round 15. Sprouts, very broken economy state here. I don't know if they have themselves the definitive buy.
I would have much preferred to have seen the save there. If they have double smokes for the cross, I can see it happening, but when you've got one smoke and you're trying to commit up from long, just look at how BlameF plays it. He hugs the wall. He just hugs the edge of the smoke, and that's just an easy pick coming forward. Complexity really starting to strike here, and we're even seeing a couple of Galils and a scout out for Slacks.
Yeah, I did say the economy was weak, and you can see the broken buy coming in for it. The 2 AKs on Cressy and Dennis are going to have to become the focal point for Sprout. And already Cressy's forced away from Longhouse. Again, Sprout are going to peek towards this. They don't lose a fight. They don't lose a frag. But they also don't gain anything. Complexity just force them away.
Now, even the flash out from mid, they don't commit with it. So as soon as Config starts slow walking back into the angle, he's going to realize they haven't walked out.
Smokes on cross. And from the mid, control. AWP poison. Can't catch the scout player or anybody else in the mid position for that matter. It's Config that taps through anyway and gets a headshot on Spiddy. Slacks gets that trade though. Scout involved to a 4v4.
A nice pick back to come in for Sprout, but what can they do with it is the big question. Start scrambling the rotates a little bit. Poison's going to look out for this mid position. Both AWPs sort of in and around both mid and B. Nothing out towards the A side.
Very slow again from Sprout. Beginning those rotations, quiet as a mouse. Going into the tunnel position for Dennis to lead that charge up towards that B site. They've got JKS on site to defend against it. The AWP is actually cross-firing this position. Farven drawing attention away, but the real utility comes out. And here comes Sprout. Up in with JKS again. First kill landed, second kill gonna connect us all. Third frag, not quite found, facing in against that scout player. Poison gets involved with the supportive element, and Farben's all that remains. 13 seconds to go for the 1v4 clutch here. Poison's watching the angle, gets the shot in, and it's a 10-5 hard for Complexity to recover their CT side.
Smoke clears, I'll still be on my feet, forget all my fears, cause I know my destiny. I feel a champion waking inside of me. It's emotion, the legends feel good. This is my moment, can't break my focus, know where I'm going. This is my moment. See me coming, better run for cover. I survived the pain, I know it made me stronger. We were caught in the fire. Our faith was left out in the open. Saw the fear in your eyes as we move through the dust. Nights turn into days, one by another.
Five rounds the difference between Complexity and Sprout, but Complexity are the ones leading going into their T-side half. Sprout started off so strong, but they let it all slip to egg. And I wonder if the ridiculous round streak that they had in the CT side for Complexity is going to be enough to turn this map to their favor. They got 9 in a row to close out in the second half, and Sprout, well, they looked amazing at times, but then it all just fell apart.
It really did, and it came crumbling down so damn quickly. You look at every one of those CT rounds of Complexity, the 10 of which that they won, the 9 streak in a row, not a single bomb plant went down. We didn't even see Complexity like setting themselves up for retakes. They got absolutely slapped around, and for Sprout, if they can get off to another early start, if they can pull some confidence forward from the pistol round, I could see this being somewhat more competitive, but right now Complexity are looking hot.
Indeed they are. Smoke and flash for Poison. Molotov in for Rush. He might have dropped those 2 PD50s for Blame F and JKS, actually, which makes a lot of sense given the situation. Have a flash and defuse for Spiddy over on the Sprout camp, so basic pistols in for them. 2 raid bosses for Complexity, and they make their way up into the short control. Can Farben catch them off here in the midst of the smoke on top of Xbox? They might not be expecting this at all. He takes 5. Oh, he wins those 2 headshots. Config trades it, though. The bomb's still in their control. Cressy's got to be fragged out here by the T-side players over in the Longhouse control. Rush and JKS leaning in. They do catch Slacks. They finally overwhelm Cressy, and now the bomb can cross to the site.
Yeah, get that bomb down out from A, and for Sprout, it all just comes down to the retake. Spinny's got the kit and the flash, but he's stuck out towards CT, and they know that he's here.
USP flicking on Rush. Config, seeing his head, Dennis lands a perfect one again. 2v2. Creeping with their heads stuck down. Spiddy's the man that's got to get to the site. He's the player with the kit. Using those flashes to get in. Rush turned away from. JKS might not be seen to the back lines. P250 does get recovered for the long range. Good duel. Spiddy seen, Glock out. Now JKS has it all to do here. Can he deny the bomb plant? Both Spiddy and Dennis are going to set up for this. Kits in, seen there, tap through. Can't hit the shots. None of them connecting for JKS. Oh, that. What happened there? Was he just a little bit too high? Such long range of a duel. And nothing was found on Spiddy.
And just not really finding the head. Sprout side, we can see the way they set themselves up in the 2v2, how that insane kill comes out for Dennis, how crispy that is from the short position. And for Sprout, 2 for 2 in pistols so far this best of 3, looking good in the early starts of the halves.
That will be a force buy for more of a hero AK buy for Complexity. Not going fully committing into these rounds like most T-sides end up doing. Can't get a run boost set up either here for Complexity, unfortunately. Not like it'll matter too much. They have made their way through the mid position and up through the mid doors in particular. That's where Config wants to be.
Oh, this could be quite juicy. Flash comes up, easy duel for the AK, and now they could just commit from this.
Base in towards this short position. Have got Slacks on the scout. Sees his first man, tags Rush. Can't get a frag on him now. He's going to get overwhelmed with the pistols. And the sheer numbers game, the Complexity have to face him. None of those shots connecting. And Poison's credited with taking down a scout. It's a 5-on-3 retake.
They've got to at least attempt this. Try and see if they get some picks back. Dennis is even being seen. More spam damage in. Low HP numbers for the T side, though.
Burst through, Dennis, Poison, Farven, Cressy all getting involved back to a 2 versus 2. Blame F solo on the site is dealt with. JKS's backstab now is nullified. He's going to grab that from Mars, seeing what kind of damage he can do in the midst of the smoke. Cressy is going to fade of it. Farven now facing. Headshot's been seen. He's ducked down, but he peeks back up again, allowing JKS to get that kill, but doesn't hold the clutch. Cressy grabs the kit and grabs the defuse.
Complexity could force buy again, without a doubt. Like, they didn't even buy that round, really, did they? They had a hero AK investment coming down, didn't really upgrade too many more of those pistol players into Kevlar, so 4 kills to Boldplan, you're going to completely force buy the issue, and for Sprout, they'll be happy that they've got that round recovered, but when you think about the investment, they'll be disappointed at the same time how much they lost in that one.
3 rounds left for Sprout to catch up to, but as you mentioned, Complexity on the force buy, and considering what they did with just the pistols and the hero AK, this could be very interesting indeed. Poison straight in with the AWP. Saw how long was a very contentious position for Sprout to try and enter towards. They're not going to be able to get as many kills as Complexity could, but Complexity also don't find the entries like Sprout could either, so out to the mid default again for the T side.
It just all comes down to when to Complexity start getting a bit of a roll again, because that's what we saw in the first half. Once they were able to start the streak, it seemed like it was never going to end. The Sprout, bit of emphasis, aggressive up towards that short position, but for Complexity, outside of this Xbox and mid-control, haven't really seen a lot from them. They've slowed it right down.
They've been very careful with this. Being very quiet about this as well. Nades inbound onto Spiddy to land. Forcing him off the angle here, but Complexity not getting a definitive kill. They're now going to rotate away from the A site and try playing towards B site now.
Yeah, there's no util for both Farven and for Dennis, so the B anchors are just going to be so dry on this.
AUG watching as Farven continues facing. Flash is coming over. Another one to follow up. 1 crossfire lock, Dennis with 2 picks. JKS turns it around against Dennis as part of things, so a 2-for-1 trade. Farven super duper low, and JKS just can't quite find the kill. The USP could be enough. Farven turns it around against the rifle, continues facing, which will cost him here, but someone's got to go back to car, grab that bomb, and the CTs have been given enough time to rotate up here.
Yeah, do they try and just push through the smoke, try and deny that bomb from going down? There's eyes on the door, play flash over the top, Playman finds that first, can he find the second? Not quite that transfer. Poison now the last one left, and Cressy finds the frag. The bomb does go down, they get 3 kills. We might see another force buy coming through for Complexity. Sprout, really nice retake, and what I love there is rather than them slowing it down and just playing out the numbers game, they just run into the site, they create so much chaos.
Yeah, a bit of miscombobulation there from Complexity. I feel like if they had gotten that bomb picked up sooner, carry hadn't dropped so early on and out towards Car being so far away from the plant site. But the real hero of the round becomes Farven. That USP getting the kill on JKS, I think that really turned the tide back for them. And yes, there were mistakes being made by Complexity in a couple of cases. They were taking a tactical pause to try and figure out how to not make those mistakes again.
Yeah, they can buy it up. It just depends on how much of a risk they want to do it. Like, you can get AKs out for pretty much everyone. Poison could just be on a scout if you wanted to go down that kind of an avenue. Or would you prefer just to eco, just take it on the chin, allow Sprout to get up to 9, know that you still got the lead, and then get a very good buy going forward? There's some discussions going in, and it seems like, yeah, they do want to force it up.
You mentioned the idea of them being able to go for it, and with the AWP and the AK being the only weapon saved in from Sprout, the money line still looks like it could be reset by Complexity. They do have a scout though, so it's not exactly matching to the AWP that Slacks has the AKs in. Poison leaning into the mid position, into the mid doors. Does not see anything early on here for Sprout. Back to the passive defaults for Complexity. They'd like to take a very slow early round.
Yeah, Cressy just hugging the wall and getting a little bit of support in terms of utility coming out from Slacks, but for Complexity, it seems like they do want to retake this longhouse position, maybe a little bit later into the round than straight away.
Slow walking up towards the longhouse. They have got 2 players to crossfire it. Slacks on Car with the AWP. Cressy with the AK at pit. Flashbang in, gonna try and blind them off. Sees Rush. Doesn't see Config just yet. They do overwhelm the AWP back at Car. Does see the first player out. Config has crossed. Speedy's out in the open as well. Both players facing the baiting in further shots. Poison with a scout headshot comes up as well. Turns the AK back around. Farman gets his trade. 2v2. The bomb's been dropped in pit. And now the short presence has got to act. Sprout might be aware of what's going on, but their backs are turned here. They see one player forcing out of position. AK tapped through. Burst up against Farvan. Doesn't get the tag, but now they know where the bomb is, and they can just hold from here.
Now, how do they do this? So they get like a boost over the top towards CT, try and find a bit of an angle to work with Farvan. There's so much time for Complexity, but they've got to take these fights out to long.
33 seconds. Dennis going for a big old backstab as well. They know what's going on. Nades on. Farvan just going to stall for as much time. If he goes down, it won't matter because Dennis could be in to remove the desperately tapping through to the headshots, and Farvan finds his own. And Sprout, again, in the early half, looked fantastic on CT.
They really do, and this is something we saw from them in their campaign in the tournament run in both Meisterschaft and the NC Global Playoffs, is just how much this German side love to be able to get off to dominant leads. They've really got a high conversion rate with pistol rounds and the anti-eco conversions, and it is proving itself in this matchup on Dust2. They're 1 away from tying up the scoreline, and for Complexity, they haven't got started on T just yet.
Straight up here for Complexity. And Sprout forcing the issue forward into the mid-control, wiping out the majority of the map presence that Complexity could have had. They're focused all in the long position, however, so it's a case of going for the executions and then they get the bomb down.
Just walk, get that utility high, but they've got to try and force the CTs away. It could even be a retake setup for Sprout.
Away from the AWP. SMG of Cressy, close range, finds that 1 kill. Dennis is going to get overwhelmed, however, so that's 1 frag for the T side. SMG still bursts through. JKS is going to trade back Cressy at long last to 3 versus 3, but just got to grab that bomb, swing out wide, get it down on the default position.
Oh, Poison!
The only thing they're going to be worrying about is Farvan, who's in the Ganoff angle. But you're right about Poison, that backstab coming in. Spinny technically accounting for it for a moment, and finally the swing from Farvan comes up, and now Poison has got all 3 CTs in his grasp. Spray transfer to 2, now looking towards the AK. Farvan now forced out into the open, where Config can potentially straight get that headshot back in to a 1 versus 1. Mac 10 versus Rifle. The USP comes out instead. Now got to switch back. 1 bullet in the chamber. Go for the USP again. Config got more damage against him, and Config will win the fight and win the round for Complexity.
What a steal. Honestly, when you think about the investment they've got, when you think about the damage that's already been tagged up by the Sprout side, everything's holding really well, and it's that slight distraction from JKS on the side that's peeking into the short players, which just drives the attention away from that backstab, and Poison, those 2 kills were everything.
Now we can get the AWP out. Complexity establishing themselves here with their first T round, a half-buy round of that. Sprouts losing all their investment and getting Deagles out and the SMGs in for Cressy. Flashbang into the mid doors. BlameF's not going to face forward of it. Farben hears those footsteps. He knows how much he has to stay alive here. Sprout are on the force buy.
Yeah, flash out towards a short position. They haven't even spotted out Config, so there's an opportunity where he could just swing. They will have no idea that he's here. They do drop the bomb, so at least that's an early contact pick. But for Sprout, just look at the buy that they're on. They got 4 rounds to start off this second half, but it's been so down to the wire. Not many players surviving that their economy's wrecked itself.
Damage being done, the Slacks, the Spiddy, but no kills against their name. Complexity are the ones to take the first casualties. BlameF for Poison, find those 3 players. Spiddy can chase right back, look for the 2 kills, but can't quite catch Poison. 4 HP from a 3v3. Rush gonna get smoked off here. The Deagle catches him in the back as well. And the third man on the CT side will also rotate up towards the mid position for the backstab. But the bomb plant can be secured towards B site. Smokes and Molotovs have gone down. Now the cross on the retake here in the round.
Oh, this could still be very winnable for the City side. Good utility out towards window, and Spiddy's burning.
Just a little bit. Rush forward, makes his way in. Spiddy somehow comes up with a kill. Rush takes down one back. Oh, AWP poisonous away at the moment. Rush has got to transfer 180, but Cressy's doing his damage. He needs to win this fight, and he almost does on 1 HP. Rush barely keeps it together. But Sprout, a hair's width away from taking that.
1 HP, they just dive through that smoke, through the doors, get out to the car position, and Rush has got everything to do. The title of Poison looking out to car, and Rush wins a huge clutch going down to the wire. Oh, the sigh of relief from JKS.
Straight in for Poison. Look at this sequence of the AWP. Every frag going his way, and Complexity just rip apart Sprout in this anti-eco. Perfect AWP shooting. Yes, they were pistol kills, but that's very difficult to land that time and time again.
And you look back to that clutch in hindsight, maybe even a couple of rounds' time, and you think to yourself, Jay, was that clutch with 1 HP from Rush the map winner? Because now we're up to 13-9. Complexity are now getting under the skin of the economy game. Even for Sprout going into the rifle round into round 23, they're light on utility. They've only got 1 kid in play, but they do have the opening man advantage.
Well, you remember how Sprout, again, in the first half of the map up, they had that those 5 rounds to start. For Complexity, got all the control back and took those 9 rounds in a row. Look at the AWP boost up here for Poison. 3 players looking to catch off Slacks. They won't find him. Sprouts will have the opening pick, though, so at least they have that much of an advantage to work with him. Molotovs and flashes coming in. Complexity not going to act off the back of that here. Farben's AWP. Trade back from Slacks. 4v3 still for Sprout.
Oh, very messy in the upper tunnels. Both teams missing out a couple of shots, and Slacks is just able to keep picking through. 3 to his name. Oh, even threw the smoke onto the 4th one. And BlameF is just a lurk out from short. He can't do anything from here.
Slacks got 4 kills in this round. He's on for the ace, so I don't think he'll get it. BlameF to catch off that 1 pick. The bomb's been dropped as well in the tunnels, so yeah, dealt with by Spiddy's part. Maybe if he could act a little bit quicker, but not to be in this one. 13-10, Complexity. I should imagine the money is definitely there here for the T side, but they've got to make some confident rounds happen on these T side XCs.
It all just comes down to being able to allow plays like that from Slacks to just come through a little bit more frequently, whether it's him or whether it's another teammate. 2 AKs being recovered from the back end of that last round too for both Cressy and for Dennis. Slacks getting boosted up, even a smoke out towards a longhouse to start off.
AWP's in to the mid-control for Slacks. AK at BlameF going to try and catch him off. Can he catch Cressy instead? Is going to be the main next concern. Ooh, angle's a little bit off. Cressy sees him first, gets that kill. The patient plays from Sprout play off.
Yeah, nice. That really starts off because you just see that for Cressy, it's all a matter of timing. Who's going to check that angle first? And it starts off with Sprout getting the opening pick. More flash out towards the longhouse, and Slacks is looking to try and take a duel.
Flashes over. AWP in. Can he see that shoulder? He cannot. CT player back at big box, and he's just going to wait there until it's the right moment to strike. Complexity putting utility on towards the cross. Smokes in. They are pressing towards the A site. Slacks gets a bit of a counter smoke, so we can now look towards the gap.
Yeah, they know it's long. They've already pressed out from mid. They've got everyone towards this A site. So many players here for Sprout.
Complexity are not going to get away with the easy rounds, it seems. Perfect reads, perfect info, perfect everything right now from Sprout. 40 seconds to the clock for the perfect hold. AK in from Config, getting up close and personal against the likes of Slacks. Great nades to do damage towards the T-side members. And Spiddy gets 2 kills. JKS will trade back Slacks and double up onto Spiddy's part. Flash forward to the CT. AK Cressy gets involved. Poison gets 1 trade, but now needs to find 2 more for the 3K clutch overall.
And how does he even gather the information of where these CT players are out? Dennis just hugging the wall. Might be able to get the bomb plan in without getting swung on.
Sticks it, doesn't tap it. Dennis will force forward Poison. Oh, a quick scope lands a shot. Not quite good enough for the kill, though. The double op saved in for Sprout for 11 to their board. Complexity, not quite as streak heavy in the second half as it was for the CT side. We're back within 2.
Yeah, Sprout are really giving in. They're really just making sure they're keeping it as competitive as possible, as down to the wire to establish this comeback. And for Complexity, it is a little bit surprising after winning 9 rounds to end out the first half that they are struggling here on T side. Tactical timeout actually coming through from Sprout in this situation.
Recognizing Complexity might have a trick up their sleeves, because when they were most deadly and when they were able to destroy Sprout was when they had the half buy. And well, look at Complexity, they've got a half buy here. Tech 9s, Mac 10s, all the works are standard. Discussions pretty intense here from the Sprout side. Just got to avoid Complexity getting their way. If they get their way, then Sprout concede. It's a great chance for Complexity to talk to each other as well and discuss what they're doing wrong, because they have shown some serious opportunities and some serious potential, but Sprout just had the one up against them.
Double orbs coming through as well is a little bit of a staple for Sprout on City side of Dust2. Slacks and Farfan. Haven't really seen a massive amount from Farfan in this game just yet. It seems like for Complexity, just get that early Xbox smoke down. Everyone grouping up in the upper tunnels.
Pistols in. Smokes down against the Molotovs. Dennis flashed out. Nade trying to do some damage. Damage done towards Russian Config instead. Dennis going to get caught off. Lines up on the bomb carrier. JKS gets his trade. Farvin knows that bomb been dropped. Slacks through the smoke and the door. Shot on JKS with a no-scope. It's a 4v3 retake. Sprout have gained the advantage, but some 6 shots like that could contribute to more.
M4 being picked up for Config and post-plant in. There's not a crazy amount of utility for Sprout to work with to force these T-side players out to the open, and Config's taking fights.
He's found an angle. Back to 3v3. He swings back. Spiddy's caught looking the wrong way. Knows the orb so close. Molotov burns. Config gets a kill. Cressy's all alone. And the Tech 9 gets a quadra. How you're allowed so much aggression for Complexity to work, I will never know.
So this is twice now. This is twice now that they've won ecos in this T-side. What a round from Config, just picking up that M4, continuing to do damage, and the taps in for the Tech 9. Oh, you'd think they'd be a little bit more pumped about that one, but maybe just relief they get up to 14.
That's within 2 of the win now on Dust2 on Sprout's map pick. They have taken this map away from Sprout to 2-0 them in the past. But Sprout are not letting this one go so easy. Another triple boost up for the AWP of Poison. Can look over, could see Farvin in the back, but no one's really holding it behind this Xbox angle, so just wait and look ahead. Farvin is not going to take aggressive face. There's no need to do that here for Sprout.
This buy is horrendous. This buy really doesn't look that pretty for Sprout. And this is do or die. Down 11-14, they lose this. They potentially lose the map. Everything relies on this. And is this just going to be a simple B exec?
Could well be. 2 players to find. That lurker out of Rush could get caught off by Slacks if he's not careful, though. Out in the open, he's expecting the long aggression, not the mid. Control from our spray from Dennis. Gets 1, Farvin gets 2. Blame F caught off, does get his trades together, but Spiddy still holds together with the M4. Russian Poison trading back. AWP needs support, so Russia's got to get here quick because the backtab's inbound from Slacks. And now it all rests on the AK against 2 Deagles. Rifles to recover, however, for Sprout. And Complexity bottling in the bottleneck position. Rush seen by Slacks' AWP. He still creeps close with a smoke down to try and provide some cover. Where does he go about this? How does he go about this clutch here? M4's watching him, he's seen him. Rush does not get the clutch at all. And Sprout, again, deny him at point.
Maybe they needed that extra guy. You look at that position, and for Complexity, they just leave a lurker towards the top of mid and just commit out towards the upper tunnels. And what a crossfire being set by the CT side. The Deagle's just doing so much damage. Even Spinny just comes flying into the side. Yeah, he doesn't do a massive amount for his team, but at least he keeps the pressure on, right? He knows that if he rotates in, gets one kill and dies instantly, it wastes more time. It allows the rotation to come in. And for Sprout, that was such a vital round to win. They're now taking their third tactical.
Yeah, it has not been the prettiest affairs from both sides of the aisle. Complexity still hunting to get this map on the wraps, so to try and close it out 2-0, make it a very early night for them. With rebuys on both sides, should be seeing the full forces coming forward. The question is, have Complexity been rocked on their economy basis? There was a couple of dips in the money line, and yeah, you could see the Tech 9 and the Deagle coming out for the likes of JKS and Rush, so the AWP and the double AKs will be the main forces on the buy. Good shot from Poison will start things off. Not a kill against Dennis, but he's tagged to less than 30.
And just working with this mid pressure. Look at how fast they're going out. They're slow walking, but they're getting it so early.
Ooh, are they ready for the CT face? Is Speedy going to start to regress here? I think he's on a boost spot to look over. So not quite, it doesn't seem like. Jump up, Poison with the AWP, taking contact, taking a couple of shots, but not getting the kills here. And the M4 of Speedy not allowed to get a face either.
And the only problem for him is if he drops down, there's no way he can do it silently, so he's going to make some noise and they'll just start spamming that CT smoke. Complexity do seem like they want to split B, though.
Flashes inbound, Speedy looking up again, going to get caught flash blind in Molotov. Doesn't extend towards him so we can get the kill. He's seen, and Poison gets the adjustment. Meanwhile, on the B side, Dennis and Farven get their kills. Dennis doubles up, and Blame F needs to look to the back line. Does not catch off Farven. Slacks gets involved, and Sprout find the confidence again for their 13th for the CT side.
Yeah, they're bringing this back, and for the majority of this map, Jay, like, they have been on the back foot, really, even with that 5-1 scoreline. When we saw the competitive nature coming through from Complexity and the streak coming out, they were always on the returning end, and now we're in a position where they are getting close to tying up the scoreline. The force buyout for Complexity in the last round not being successful, meaning they've got an eco in round 28.
Oh, we have seen a stop call coming in from Sprout. I believe that was just called out before the kill came in on config, so... No, yeah, it's not live.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that one's returned back, but... Regardless, Sprout in dire positions compared to Complexity. Still got to catch up, but at least they have the buy up and at least they have the positioning in terms of the guns that Complexity cannot have at this moment.
I tell you, they're lucky. They really are there, because that stop call came in just before Config got that kill towards top mid. And that would have been a very difficult situation to be in for Sprout, but look, it comes in nevertheless. And Complexity, the one positive note you can look at going into round 28 is that they've already won 2 ecos on this D side, and this could be another one of them. But yeah, Sprout. Good to see they're keeping it competitive. Like, this is a lower bracket round game in a best of 3 against a very, very much a top side of Complexity. Sprout, we heard it in the interviews, realistic expectations was really what we heard from them. But like, they're holding their ground. They're really giving Complexity a good run for their money.
Yeah, and on their map pick, that's kind of not expected, but it is one of those things where you're like, okay, well, at least they're holding that much.
Yeah.
For Complexity here. It's not going to be the easiest affair, and I mean, Sprout can somehow take the win over it if they can work within their means. Find a way to adjust, find a way to find positioning, find a way to find some sort of comeback and get this 16-14, then, well, they said they want to win a map. That could be their map.
Yeah, it could be. Very much so. And when you compare the head-to-heads, it's been rough for Sprout. 5 best of 3s going the way of Complexity, none going the way of Sprout. 10 maps to 1. And this has been a little bit of a rivalry that's been building for longer than a year now, Jay. And Sprout still haven't been able to get the upper hand at all.
I have been looking closer in the most recent series, especially during the Flashpoint qualifier and during Flashpoint itself. Although, to be fair, the Flashpoint series was a bit more of a one-sided affair. But hey, it's the first time we've seen double digits from Sprout since the vertigo of that qualifier. So a moment that Sprout could at least be happy with, even if they do fall apart for this one. But I imagine there could still be something left in this one. Again, Complexity back on the pistols.
Now, it all just comes down to the last couple of rounds. We've seen some pretty big moments coming out for both teams. You look back at that clutch coming out from Rush. And you also look at some of the moments coming in from Sprout. And I weigh this up in my head, and I don't know how to call it, really. I mean, it is difficult to call. It's 14-13. We know Complexity are on an eco going into round 29, or round 28. So going into round 29 and round 30, if we do go that far, we're at least going to have gun round versus gun round for both teams.
Definitely a possibility, definitely a likelihood for them. I think the gun rounds could be where the whole game is decided, I feel like, especially in the case of Complexity, where their own control just needs to be maintained. (14-13) is still the lead. Very, very careful from them. But again, probably looking at this situation, probably looking at the T side, thinking about this basic eco, and then to look towards, again, the gun rounds. Well, at least Complexity are keeping high spirits. You can see that on their cams, so. Even they can keep those high spirits going into the last couple of rounds of the game.
Is that like a little animal, I think, there underneath Spiddy's monitor? Not quite sure what that is. Not a real one, obviously.
I was going to say, I'm very, very concerned.
Some sort of plush toy? I mean, maybe it's just sitting really still.
What kind of animal is that flat and sits that still?
I don't know, man. You tell me.
Has he got a stingray that has lungs instead of gills or something? Like, I got nothing for you there. Nothing for you. Anyway, round restore coming in from Complexity and Sprout. So looking like we're about ready to go with the fifth man now rejoining the Sprout side, and they're getting geared up to go here on the CT line. Complexity still rocking the basic pistols again. This is going to be an eco round for them. A couple of upgrades again on the Deagles, so 3 players that could do some hand cannon damage. But focus for Complexity is still going to be in the gun rounds.
No, just try and see if they can chip away. Have some sort of opportunity of maybe dropping 1 or 2, if possible, of those AKs for Speedy or Dennis. Don't really want to be facing them into the rifle rounds if you've got the opportunity of doing so. What can these hand cannons find? Config is actually taking a little bit of a duel out from mid, but Spitty not just giving him the angle completely.
Complexity and the mid control. So very similar setup to what we saw in the not live edition of this round. Spitty, AK, watching for Config. He moves up to position, looks towards the window area. Spitty gets the kill though. Damage done to the CT side, but no kills.
AWP is so deep out towards a car angle, and without any utility, Complexity really just have to dry face just this AWP, allow that one-on-one trade to come out, because they don't have the smokes and the flashes to kind of evade some of that vision.
Smokes back, spray through. Sprout trying to get aggressive and trying to suppress Complexity in the mid position. Revealing their angles, revealing they have those AKs in. Complexity not taking phase for it, losing that first man. Footsteps are heard by Farven though, knowing that they're out towards mid. Chance for the SMG to get some serious money going. 3 kills for Farven. USP for the quadra against JKS. Not quite, it seems. Backed up with his Deagle. Does take his damage. Get his licks in. But Spitty gets his 2K. And it's 14-all. We go to round 30 between Complexity and Sprout.
Very easy there. Not really much of a challenge at all. No one falls. No one really takes any sort of big impact. So for Complexity, you get the AKs going forward. You get the util up for everybody. And this is really where the game starts heating up, Jake. It's around 29. Everything for both teams now.
Double orbs in for Sprout. AKs across the board for Complexity. How do Complexity want to play this T side here? How do they want to take the aggression? Which side do they want to execute towards? We've seen a couple of different variations of what they can do. Look at the AWP here for Slacks facing forward. Oh, this could get very dicey. That AK also aggressing so far for JKS. Slacks is going to hold this angle, though. He's not going to aggress too far.
Yeah, if he does aggress too far, you can only imagine he's going to get punished by JKS. So it just comes down to who's going to peek the line first.
Molotov's inbound here towards the short position as the T's will set up mostly on short itself. The AWP starts facing a little bit further forward here for Slacks. It's Complexity, Rupper out. And out of the tunnel's entrance, up into the mid-control, up onto the short play.
Very silent to come in from Complexity. Haven't really given the ghost away. Mid to B smoke's coming out, but it seems like it could be a little bit of a fake.
Smokes on either side, flashes forward. Spinny and Dennis are going to try taking contact against them. Haven't seen anything of the T side, though. I think it might be the A play, and indeed the Molotov's coming in. Farvan's going to adjust against the AWP, held out from ramp, looking back. The elbow entrance config with a nade, that should do some decent damage. Farvan getting caught. And config wrapping over. AWP in, shot missed out. Poison with a perfect chance to punish, getting his 28th kill in this matchup. Config traded his Spinny doubles up. JKS finds Dennis to return. And Cressy falls at the same time. AK still holds though and gets that bomb dropped by MF. Gotta find Spinny. No, he's gotta find Slacks. Excuse me, Spinny now left alone. Faced in by Russia. 3 points of health. Gets that kill and gets map point for Cole.
Oh, that is a sweat fest in that round there. You can just see how much damage Spinny is doing from this ramp position, and he's staying alive. The bomb is down low. The time is there. BlameF cuts off the rotation, and Rush has got to get this kill instantly. There's no way BlameF position deal with that player. It comes down to the low HP player from Rush, and he's done that before in a very similar situation.
Good attempt shot from Poison there towards the mid-control. Sprout. And one more final buy to take into regulation, lest we be on for overtime. Complexity. Running out the defaults to stand in mid-control for 3 players, looking like a short play on the default. Will they go towards short commitment?
If they do, they've got to flash the AWP off angle or just put a smoke down. They've got to be able to evade that sightline. And for Cressy, he could have a bit of a moment where he starts aggressing out from the longhouse, get in behind them and have a big lurk attempt.
4 players on short for Complexity. Looks like they want to go towards the A site. Slacks' AWP is so ready for them. Utility inbound. Flash does not keep him blind. He still misses his shot. USB comes out. Rush bails out. The likes of Config. Spiddy gets his trade, however. Holding back from ramp once again. Incendiary's on. Smokes to cross. AUG also there. Config facing towards with his back turn. Cressy and Spiddy combined with the crossfire. Back in for Spiddy on BlameF. 2 players standing. Complexity have that bomb close to side. 1 lurker back in needs to support the likes of Poison. Seeing that shadow. Can't catch Spiddy still. And now Dennis enters from the CT spawn. Getting the pick back. And it's all to JKS. A 1v4 scenario. The Galil in. But an impossible clutch for this man.
1 versus 4, bombs getting dropped, and Spinny might just be able to present the angle out towards that ramp phase. JKS has got to isolate so many of these 1v1s.
Spinny trying to look for contact, 15 seconds, he's got to move. Takes that fight on the first, doesn't win the second. 15 all, it's all overtime between Complexity and Sprout for map 1.
We know it, it's just the way we live, we own it.
Up, 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 1,000 miles of luck. Don't look down, we made it. Feet far off the pavement, and we go up, up, up. 1,000 miles of luck.
Well, so far, this one has been a battle. The map pick, a Sprout of Dust2 going to overtime. I believe our first overtime of the tournament as well here. I'm hoping that Sprout can still take this map overall so we can have a bit more of an interesting contest. But with how close it has been, Complexity have proven that they are the stronger team at the moment.
It's a very difficult and fine line to cross of who's going to be able to convert from here, because we've just seen greatness from both of these teams, and that's exactly why we're going into OT. 15-15, double up setup coming in straight away for both Slacks and for Farfan. And for Sprout, this has got to be a lot of confidence moving forward to them, knowing that they're still in this one.
Well, they wanted to show some decent level of CS, and well, this definitely is a pretty okay level of CS. I'll give you that at the very, very least. MR3, 16k, of course, is our rule set. Double orbs coming in from Slacks and Farvan. Immediately for Sprout. The Incendiaries on the AUG. Cressy looking to back off. JKS be forced away. The nades on to do damage to Slacks to start things off for Complexity.
Towards the upper tunnels coming through from Sprout. I wonder what that leans into a little bit later into the round, because at least for Complexity, they're just walking out long right now. They've got no idea what's going on here.
Blame catches the kill on Farva to start. Rush taps up the head of Cressy. Blame does get dealt with out towards the tunnels entrance. Another Molotov inbound. There's a player out of CT mid already. Poison with the orb. Could catch off the rotator. Dennis, he's tunnel vision with his own orb instead. And yes, it's a 4v2. Complexity walking into a completely undefended A-bomb site. And Sprout, well, what do you do?
No, you try and go in for the retake, that much for sure, but look at already the damage coming in. More burning coming in for Slacks, 8 HP. Him and Speedy both trying to come out for the short position. They have spotted out Config towards CT, but 4 players alive here for the T side, and no one's fighting. No one's giving up the angle at all. Such a difficult position for Sprout to be in, to catch JKS onto the side. They do find that first kill, looking for a little bit more, but that should be it. Slacks down to 1v3, looking to just try and see if... How the hell, with an aggressive play in the upper tunnels and 3 players in short, has no one got eyes on long?
It's a bit of a question you can ask yourself, considering how well CT's sides have been for Sprout so far in this matchup. Have always contested the long control and always had pretty decent success for it, but nah, Complexity just walking out to an angle that no one from Sprout was watching, so in the end conceding, and now straight up into the long control for Cressy. Gets aggressive, finds that first, not that second. AK, a Flame F is already out here, finds Speedy next up, and Slacks is forced to go passive, lest lose his life, and the AWP will drop so early in this round.
Oh, they know that he's here. Just trying to create a bit of an angle out towards his car position. Slacks needs a little bit of help, but at least he's getting it from Dennis.
Oh, the orb of poison couldn't lock onto the headshot. Had to double take her a second behind car. And now JKS is all alone. This is a much better long hold this time from Sprout. Complexity not able to get away so easy with the straight up long walk. And oh, it's back to 16 all again.
Yeah, tied up. And for Sprout, you've got to give them a lot of credit on their protocol there. They're in a bit of a position in which they lose the one-on-one fight out from long, and there's a bit of a moment where the AWP is maybe a bit threatened by the amount of long presence there is, so at least Dennis just swinging through, being able to back up the best that they can, and even just making sure in that 3 versus 1 that they don't isolate any 1v1 duels for JKS.
Oh, here come the Dax. No damage done to the CT side though, so nothing gained there from the auto snipers. He's instead towards the upper tunnels position. Dennis putting those HEs down, and Poison is the man that takes the damage out to the longhouse position. The bomb is in the tunnel, so Complexity are focusing mostly on the B play. That long control is more of a lurk than anything else.
Yeah, very defensive coming out from Sprout going into the last round of the first half. Not really seeing a lot of over-aggression towards a short position. Not really seeing much of a sightline in from mid. They have got 3 players on B, though. I wonder what's indicating this kind of a lean.
The information that Complexity have given up here. Imagine that they have some level of understanding as what's going on. Molotovs coming down and will try to sprout players away from the short presence, but no one is really there. They've backed off passive at long. They can walk up short, take A. The only issues that have to try and deal with Slacks and his AWP.
Oh, they're running into the stack. What a read this is from Sprout.
Complexity making their moves into mid. Dennis sees what's going on. His first contact. Spiddy not detected by a rush. He is detected by Config. JKS gets his trade. Dennis still holds his own. And now he's surrounded by T-side forces. If he gets even one kill, he might buy a chance for the retake. But he's overwhelmed by the Aussie. And now it's a 3v2 retake.
Yeah, Slacks and Cressy, we've seen what these two stars could do together, but this is going to be a very difficult one. They've got the kids in play. 1 HE on the retake for them to work with.
Slacks is the eagle in hand. AWP. Left a decent weapon for the retake. Poison Zorp gets overwhelmed by Cressy anyway, so 2v2. Slacks through the smoke. JKS not going for the spray back. The Deagle taps Config. Has seen one man take the fight against Cressy. Loses it. JKS wins the fight against the likes of Slacks. Flashbang forward, 15 HP, and he gets the headshot in for the Quadra to hold the round for Complexity.
Oh, what a round there from JKS. That's a big one to add to the tally. A 4K overall. And he was the defining factor to just pulling that distraction out from the upper tunnels, focusing some of the CT tension away, being able to get that flash over, peek with it out for the car position. Just what Complexity needed. Sprout feeling like they were so close at the end of that round, but not taking a lead going into the second half now.
Advantage Complexity going into their CT side, which remember was a 10-5 half for them. Having the advantage if they can just get a couple of good rounds, that's going to be it. AWP's in, double orbs, overwhelmed by Slacks to start things off. He gets Poison, getting the man advantage for Sprout. It was an M4 out here towards a long challenge, and well, out in the open, caught by the flashbangs. Dennis gets an easy kill on Rush.
Just fighting aggression with aggression. As soon as they find that first pick, you can see Rush just looking for a trade back, looking to swing out, and Dennis just beats him to it. Nice duels out for the T side, and now in a position where they could just start walking up from...
Incendiary's on, smokes back, Spiddy crosses. Head to the smoke, there's a gap there for Playmath. No, he doesn't see Spiddy. Spiddy gets the kill back. Config getting his responsive frag, but that's a 3-for-1 trade. And the AWP needs to land on Sunning as Config gets dealt with. And JKS is just holding his angle so desperate and dearly. He'll start facing with this orb. Has so much to find. Shot after shot to be landed. None of them going to come through. Dennis with 3 kills. And Sprout, 17 rounds.
Both teams just aren't giving up here. They're really hammering home, and it's going to come to a moment of, like, how far forward do we go for individual rounds? We're seeing both teams only winning one. Bit of frustration on the face there from BlameF. Not happy with how this is coming out. Would have much preferred to have been able to close a little bit earlier than this.
Remember, they could have been the ones up 16-14. We could be looking towards map 2, preparing ourselves for map 2 at this stage. So, Complexity... every reason to be frustrated here. Sprout's map pick could have easily gone their way, but Poison finds that opening pick on long this time. Dennis dealt with a bit more passive from Complexity. They get that opening kill, they fall back.
Just waiting for a bit of a drop down toward Pit. Nicely done from Poison to at least be able to abstract that first opening pick. More counter utility in towards a short position. Slacks almost lines him up, gets that first, not quite the second. And follow up now for Poison.
2 kills for him, 2-for-1 on the trade overall. Nice incendiary down, re-smoke up for Cressy. We'll get towards that cross, but now 2 Molotovs coming into the CT side, allowing Poison to start the reposition here. Waiting for Cressy's first phase. It's all slow from Sprout. Looks above that smoke just in case. Tag up against Cressy, allows Poison with a 3K. Quad drop against Father, no. AK gets its trade back, and now the retake should be set up for Complexity.
Oh, Config swings out at the right time. No one's looking out towards Longhouse, and now it comes down to the clutch.
Barden, this will be magical if he can win this. Looking back to the back lines. Nade coming in close, doesn't do any damage. It sails a bit too far out of position. Config sees him past big box, tap burst, spray through. Can't get a kill on Config at last, it comes in, but that has allowed BlameF to sneak up here. AK's close towards the headshot, sees his man. P250 comes out, it runs out of ammo. Can't get JKS, and in the end, 2 CTs facing together. Allows the kill to come in, allows the round to go for Complexity. 18 to their board, and map point again.
They're up to 18, and this is where Complexity have got to be the difference maker, got to be able to convert. Sprout are going to be on the definitive back foot here, knowing that they have to win another round just to bring it to another OT. Seeing the Dax come out again, double AWP set up too for the T side, trying to see if they can maybe do some early damage out from mid.
Oh, sniper in for Cressy as well. Oh, they're not happy on Sprout either. Seeing those cams really give you an insight as to what's going on there. We mentioned how Complexity weren't happy about going to overtime. Sprout not happy about conceding that one to Cole. JKS is tagged into the B site, and he's the only anchor that's there. He's got to get instant backup from Config in the mid position.
Now, that's very true, but for Sprout, how do they gather that information? Poison has been very much rock solid these last few rounds, sitting quite aggressively towards a short position. Config even gathering some info out for mid, straight into the orbit. Could be for Poison. Misses his shot, though.
Just a little bit overly aggressive. If he held that angle, eventually Dennis would have given up the kill. Little bit antsy from Complexity, a little bit too much. Now the AWP in the hands of Dennis, a triple AWP for Sprout. Minute to the go. Minute is coming in for the likes of Complexity. We'll try and keep Sprout suppressed here. They know that they're all on short.
Just seems to be a short take. You've got that super late lurk from Spitty outside of sort of T-spawn longhouse, but for Sprout, might just be better to not overcomplicate things and just go in for the...
Yeah, smokes down, CT suppressed, Blame F up here to the Gandalf boost. Where's the flashbang? Rush also there, 2 mollies inbound. Spray out on Dennis, catches him. Blame F gets the kill alongside Rush up close and personal, dropping that bomb as well. USP dishing out the damage to Slacks, and Spitty suddenly stands alone with a clutch. That's still very possible if he can find Config especially. 2 kills to his name, and bomb up towards the short part. Taps it once, but Config wins the fight and will win the game. Complexity takes Sprout's map picker Dust2, 19-17.